Sports.
We are the Force. We are the Force.
Welcome to T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball. We welcome you to Tropicana Field. The Rays homestand leading up to the All-Star break continues with the middle game of this series as the Rays host the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball. Dwayne Stats with Brian Anderson. We'll hear from Todd Callis in just a moment. Well, this Rays upsurge hit a little bump in the road last night. The offense has been very good. Actually, it's been an infrequent occurrence when that offense is absent. It was last night, with the notable exception of Ben Zobrist, who was on base 3 times.
Ben Zobrist has been swinging the bat well the last little while. You go back over his last 6 games, and he is 13 out of 27, a .481 average, on-base percentage of .500. But you gotta love the 5 out of 6 multi-hit games. Better yet, he's had success off of tonight's starter, Jason Vargas, and the majority of his good work on this last little run here in the 6 games has come from the right side, where he is 8 out of his last 12. So a lot of things lining up for Ben Zobrist in tonight's game. You just hope that he can keep it going. He gets a couple of teammates involved, and they have another big night.
Well, the offensive revival, a big part of what the Rays have done recently. But over the long term, pitching is the key for this club. And tonight, a familiar face goes to the mound. Jeremy Hellickson is back.
Much anticipated appearance here of Jeremy Hellickson, and you look at the numbers from his first 3 seasons with the Rays and then last year, and obviously having that surgery on his elbow, you just wonder how much of that was in play last year, as you see the ERA very uncharacteristic from Jeremy Hellickson's body of work. The key tonight for him to watch, and it's what he said that he was working on his rehab assignments, is fastball command. If he's able to move the ball around the zone and the majority of the time put it where he wants to, the secondary pitches come into play, and he could have a nice night for the Rays.
It was an up and down year for him last year. The Rays are hoping they get more of the Rookie of the Year type performance with him back on the mound. And with more on that, let's go out to left field and Todd Callis.
You're right about that, Dwayne. Normally, Jeremy Hellickson, a very low-key Midwesterner from Des Moines, Iowa, doesn't show a lot of emotion on the mound. He said he was overamped for his first AAA start with the Durham Bulls. He's hoping that's not the case tonight. Here are his thoughts leading up to tonight's start.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's definitely been a long time, but, it's felt even longer. I was expecting to be back a month ago, and I had a couple setbacks, but I'm feeling good now.
His opponent tonight, the Kansas City Royals, have given him trouble over the last couple of starts here at Tropicana Field and at Kauffman Stadium. But Hellickson is back. You see his career numbers at Tropicana Field, a sub 3.5 ERA. His opponent, Jason Vargas, we're 6 minutes and 18 seconds away from the first pitch. We'll have Rays baseball right around the corner on Sun Sports.
Toyota. Let's go places. And by Checkers. Big Philly flavor, small price. Checkers Philly cheesesteak and the new chicken Philly, each just $1.99. Rays baseball tonight. It's a T-Mobile night here at Tropicana Field for Game 2 of the series. Jeremy Hellickson against Jason Vargas. Rays trying to get back on the winning side of the ledger, dropping last night's game 6-0. We'll be back with all the action from the Trop following this. Dominant in his return to the Trop, striking out 10 Rays en route to a Kansas City win. Tonight, the Rays hope another return proves fruitful. Jeremy Hellickson, the former Rookie of the Year, goes to the mound for the first time in the majors this season. So Jeremy Hellickson makes that trot to the mound to get things started. After 6 rehab assignments in the minor leagues, coming off the elbow surgery, and it has kept him from the major league mound a little longer than originally anticipated. Rays originally thought he might miss 6 to 8 weeks, and we see here we are on the 8th of July. Here's the lineup he will be facing, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. Lorenzo Cain leads off, and Eric Hosmer in with a 7-game hitting streak, bats second. Perez, Gordon, Infante, and Moustakas down the middle. Billy Butler, the DH. Ibanez in right. Alcides Escobar hits ninth and plays shortstop.
Well, these are the numbers on Jeremy Hellickson from last season, but you can forget that. New year here, Jeremy Hellickson very excited to be out there. It's been a long time coming. And the key for him tonight, as it always is the command of that fastball. We all know about his changeup. He's going to drop that curveball in there. Occasionally he will cut the fastball. But when he's able to spot that fastball to both sides, that's when he has his best nights.
Well, they'll face the Kansas City Royals. Lorenzo Cain's going to lead off. Cain has been a hot hitter recently for the Royals. He had 2 hits and a run scored last night. First pitch of this game presented by Pinch a Penny, and that's a fastball in there for a strike. Hellickson 31 starts a year ago, 32 overall appearances. Count is 1-1.
Well, Jeremy had said that he was very anxious his first start down in Durham, and probably said he was going to feel the same way tonight, and the key was going to be down in the zone early, try to control those emotions and work the ball down.
There's a ground ball, and it's just out of the reach of Forsythe, and a base hit the other way for Kane. So this leadoff hitter for Kansas City continues his hot hitting. Just does get it through the right side.
And he was able to just get enough on that. Not a bad pitch at all by Jeremy, and hit it hard enough to elude the dive of Logan Forsythe. And a few Kansas City hitters that you worry about them when they get on base, Kane being one of them. They are very active on the base paths. Jeremy Hellickson historically been pretty good with the running game. Quick to home plate.
You look at him and he can be a little deliberate, but you're right, he's done a nice job. Well, you go back into last year, there wasn't a lot of running against him, but 4 caught stealings in 10 attempts.
Well, he is very deliberate. You know, Jeremy Hellickson, one of the slower starting pitchers, you know, in between pitches, especially with runners on. And so he really slows the pace down, varies his times to the plate, and then gets the ball out of his glove and on its way pretty quickly when he decides to go.
Eric Hosmer, the first baseman, takes the pitch high. 1 ball, no strike. You can see there's not a lot of complicated movement in that delivery.
Which is precisely the reason that you feel that his fastball command should be better. And it's been something that we've been harping on for a couple of years now. I think it's something that he's taken notice of after a down year last year, at least as far as the ERA goes. And so you just wonder if that's going to come around, because if it does, he can go right back to being one of those elite type guys.
Oh, he's fun to watch when he has command of the fastball, because that plays right into the big weapon, the changeup.
He can become like a surgeon out there and really carve his way through a lineup numerous times. You know, usually when you talk about guys that you're worried about their fastball command long term, you know, there's a lot going on in their delivery. Arms are up and over the head, big high leg kick, the back is arched. You know, there's just a lot going into the delivery. With Jeremy Hellickson, you cannot be any more simple than he is. He comes set, picks the front leg up, and there it is. It's like playing catch.
Cut by Hosmer, and he fouls it back. 2-2. Jeremy against Kansas City. 1-2 in 6 overall appearances, 5 starts. With a lifetime ERA of 5.97, so he'd like to start to whittle that one down.
And the majority of the bad work came last season. There's 3 starts against this Royal team, and he had an 11.5 ERA, gave up 26 hits in 13 1/3 innings.
Hot shot toward the corner. That's a foul ball. Hosmer lining a fastball just foul.
Here's a look at it here. It doesn't quite get it to its spot. Hannigan wanted that ball closer to the hands on the inside corner. It stayed down and in, and fortunately Hosmer was just a little too quick on it.
And that's the sort of thing that we're talking about there with command of the fastball. You don't want to miss out over the plate. And Hosmer, left-handed hitter, likes the pitch down out over the plate. Hit that one hard. Kane with a lead, 2-2 the count to Hosmer. Pops it up, shallow left. Geyer coming in from left field, and that's the first out.
Well, let's take this opportunity to set the Rays defense for you tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, of course, Brandon Geyer, Desmond Jennings, and Kevin Kiermaier. Across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Ben Zobrist, Logan Forsythe, and James Loney. Ryan Hannigan will be behind the plate.
That'll be the catcher, Salvador Perez. Look at Jeff Nelson, the crew chief, and the plate umpire. Didn't miss by much right there. Ball, no strikes.
Trying to start him off fastball in, and just that late little movement takes it just off the plate. That's a pitch where if you show that you can hit that spot consistently, that strike zone will start to open up a little bit. In an inning or two, that could be a strike.
This one is popped up. It's going to carry into the stands, and the count is 1-1. And that's an important point because Nelson may be inclined to give a pitcher a strike or two along the way. If you show that consistency, he's going to go with you.
Yeah, usually unless you are a guy that has a big time strike throwing reputation, you have to earn it. Yep. Usually early on you earn it. Borderline pitches may not go your way. If you're consistently there, it starts to open up a little bit for you. If you're missing wildly and the walks are piling up, you'll never get that pitch.
Shot back into deep center, but Jennings not yet to the track is there and hauls it in. Perez out number 2.
Well, obviously here at Tropicana Field tonight, the wind blowing straight in.
Especially gale force.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Summer months come and all of a sudden the storms roll in. This was a hanger. Goodness gracious. And the way that it sounded off the bat, you were thinking 2-0 Royals. And it doesn't even get to the warning track.
Slow this down with the Phantom Cam. Perez maybe a little befuddled himself. You saw that look on his face in the dugout. Alex Gordon, curveball down and in to the left-handed hitting left fielder. Gordon had been struggling coming into this series, but last night 3 hits, one of them a double. He drove in 2 runs and scored a run. In fact, there was a time when he hated to come here.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he started his career 0 for 37 at Tropicana Field. 1-1 the count. But it's been a little different lately. Of course, the fortunes of the Royals against the Rays has been different lately as well. They have played very well and tough against the Rays. You can see his career number is 157, but that was after an 0 for 37 and a 1 for 48. He's actually hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games here and has hit over 340 in that stretch. He's hit into right field. Kane's going to move to third. And it will be first and third with 2 outs.
Well, another off-speed pitch here. There was the curveball that Perez hit hard to center. And you can see right here, change up. But look where it ends up. Belt high, catching a lot of the plate. That makes it a little bit easier for Gordon. You know, you swing and miss it one down in the zone. That's the best one. Then you get one up you can recognize a little easier. And Jeremy in a little 2-out trouble.
Yeah, what you're really hoping for Jeremy Hellickson, get this first inning over with. Just get through this inning Infante's a tough out, but get him, leave a couple men on base, and see if you settle in and start hitting the spots you want to hit.
Yeah, I agree. You get out of here unscathed, take a deep breath, get that, this is opening day for Jeremy Hellickson for all intents and purposes.
High fly ball. Jennings after this one. He makes the catch to retire the side. So they do not score, leaving 2. Bottom of the first coming. Rays coming in to hit. Tonight, the Rays continue their series against the Royals here at Tropicana Field. Move into the bottom of the first. Jeremy Hellickson with the top of the first now under his belt. And for your Southern Ford dealers, a look at the Rays lineup. Desmond Jennings and the red-hot Ben Zobrist. Then Brandon Guyer gets a start hitting third. Longoria, Loney, and Forsythe, the middle of the Rays order, with Sean Rodriguez, the DH. Ryan Hannigan will catch, and Kevin Kiermaier in right field bats ninth against the lefty Vargas.
Well, and Vargas has been the model of consistency. This number right here, 14. 14 of his 18 starts have been quality starts. That is tied with Mark Burley for most in the major leagues by a left-handed starter.
And the first pitch to Desmond Jennings is in there for a strike. And the similarity between Vargas and Burley doesn't stop with the fact that they're left-handed. Unless you step out on him, he's ready to make the next pitch. One ball and one strike. He makes a pitch and is looking for the return throw from the catcher almost immediately.
9th quickest in Major League Baseball.
2 balls and a strike. 31-year-old lefty. He picks up the corner. Now 1-1.
Fastball right there on the outside corner, perfectly located.
And he comes back and gets Jennings looking on the off speed and well located.
I'll tell you, that was the same exact pitch as the fastball, about 8-9 miles an hour slower. Boom. I mean, it literally covers up pitch number 4.
Do you believe that? I mean, how about 2 perfect pitches back to back with that separation?
Yeah, that's where you're Desmond Jennings. You just walk back and say, you know what? Thank goodness I get a couple more ABs, because there was nothing you were going to do with those last 2 pitches.
Now Ben Zobrist. Ben's had some success against Vargas. Takes the first pitch strike. Ben's average up to 268.
He's also
Last night, a couple hits and a walk, and he takes the ball down 1-1.
8 of his last 12 against left-handed pitchers. He is swinging the bat well, and you mentioned those career numbers off Vargas. You're not kidding.
423. And another off-speed pitch, that change-up and way, just on that edge.
And that's what it is with Vargas. It's the fastball, the change-up, the curveball. And he does a very nice job of moving the ball around, changing speeds, mixing patterns.
2-2. Well, we have two guys here who are certainly not overpowering. You know, in fact, Vargas is going to be upper 80s most of the night. Once in a while, he's around 90. And Hellickson averages with that fastball 90, maybe a little over that. And so they rely on mixing their pitches and locating them well. There's a fastball at 88, just missed. These guys are fun to watch when they're on.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's pitching. It's truly what pitching is.
Chopper over the mound. Infante from the shortstop side of second makes the throw. Nice play by the veteran second baseman. 2 gone.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Kansas City Royal defense as it lines up tonight. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, Alex Gordon, Lorenzo Cain, and Raul Ibanez. Across the infield, third to first, Mike Moustakas, Alcides Escobar, Omar Infante, and Eric Hosmer. Salvador Perez will be behind the plate.
Base is empty for Brandon Guyer. Boy, he has come right out throwing strikes and quality strikes. Another fastball right on the corner.
And he's coming off a start in Minnesota against the Twins. 7 shutout innings, just 4 hits given up. And that was coming off maybe his worst start of the year. He gave up 6 earned runs against the Angels, the LA Angels, 4 innings.
Yeah, that's his former team, and
yep.
The way he's pitched here, I mean, anybody'd love to have this guy in their rotation. Check swing by Guyer. Lance Diaz down at first.
Well, this is going to be off a breaking ball. And nice job by Brandon to hold up.
Cut the miss.
You know, the one thing that he does very well is he doesn't have an Eric Bedard turn, but he stays close for a long time throughout his delivery. He hides the ball very well, and he really sells that changeup with very good arm action. He throws it hard. You can see right there. I mean, he sells that, and the difference isn't huge. We see bigger differences between fastball and changeup, but because of the arm speed, it becomes effective.
3-2. Ball is going to go through the hole on the left side. The Rays have a 2-out base runner on the single by Guyer.
Brandon finds a hole here, full count. Just looking to put the ball in play. That ball is away, but he wraps around, hits it hard enough. He squeezes it between Moustakas and Escobar. And the Rays with a 2-out base runner.
The Rays would like to strike early. And here's Evan Longoria. Came into this series lifetime hitting .322 against Kansas City with 7 homers and 6 of 20 lifetime off Vargas. First pitch is a strike. Toss to first base. Evan out of Long Beach State. Vargas pitched at Long Beach State as well by way of LSU. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball to third. Moustakas takes it down to Infante for the force. Rays leave a man. We go to the second. No score. Vargas in the middle game of the series. Help invade the Trop for halfway to Gasparilla when the Rays crew takes on the Blue Jays Saturday, July 12th. Purchase this ticket package and come dressed in your Gasparilla gear and receive a discounted seat in the lower level and a halfway to Gasparilla bead set. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com/special events. Mike Moustakas, the third baseman, taking the first pitch outside, 1-0. Jeremy trying to sharpen up his command a bit here in the second inning after giving up a couple of hits and leaving those men aboard, getting through the first unscored upon.
No, now he can just settle into the game. You knew that first inning was going to be emotional for Jeremy. It's been a while since he's been out on this mound in a major league setting. And so to get through that, maybe that's exactly what he needs, just like you mentioned, Dwayne, as he was out there in that first inning.
That's a strike call. Off speed there, the change on 2-0. Got it in there. Billy Butler will be next. And then Raul Ibanez. Three and one.
This is a Royals team that offensively they need to put together 2, 3, 4 hits an inning to score. They're not going to walk on you very often. They do run a little bit. They don't hit for much power. Fewest home runs in Major League Baseball.
Foul the other way and will carry into the stands. Longoria chased over there, but well out of play. And Yost, he has his club 3.5 games back, running second in the Central to start the day. Two popped up. Shallow right center, and that's Jennings taking charge from center field. That's the first out. Desmond with 3 putouts here. 1 out into the second inning.
Well, Jeremy Hellickson never has been accused of being a ground ball pitcher, and he'll get some from time to time. But because of the fastball, it doesn't have a lot of sink to it, and the changeup getting guys out in front, gets a lot of fly balls and a lot of pop-ups.
Now the DH for Kansas City, Billy Butler. And a curveball to start him, and a pretty good one in there for a strike call. That's nice to see.
Sharpest one of the night.
How about those numbers for Butler against Hellickson? 9 of 14 with a strikeout. Follows that curveball with a fastball for strike 2.
And Billy Butler, who's having a down year offensively, just 2 home runs, the average at 266, and he walks up there and Hellickson throws probably his 2 best pitches of the game.
He's down 1-2. Yeah, they'd love to see more extra base power from Butler. As you see, Ibanez on deck. He was picked up to try to boost this offense. And Butler, in batting practice, hit a ball out over the new cutout just to the left of center field. Gave it a pretty good ride. The 1-2. The right side, that ball is going to drop for a base hit. Kiermaier makes the pickup, and Butler on a 1-2 pitch hits it the other way. Almost a flare shot there.
See where this catches the bat. The ball's up in the zone, and it's just off the label. He just is able to inside out this pitch. It gets in on him just a little bit. Misses the barrel, but the placement is what does in Jeremy Hellickson here.
So Butler with an opposite field hit. You know, the issue with him has been lack of power. Ibanez up here now, and the shift is on. First pitch is a strike, and the numbers bear that out on Butler. You look at his slugging percentage. The only hitter in this lineup with a lower slugging percentage is Raul Ibanez at the plate right now. Their leadoff man and their number 9 hitter have higher slugging percentages than Billy Butler. That's hard to believe.
Really hard to believe. And that's why Ned Yost very succinctly put, we need more production out of the DH spot. That's your designated hitter. That's the only job you have.
Ibanez sends a fly ball to center, and another one for Desmond Jennings, who makes the catch. So 5 outs recorded, 5 fly balls, and 4 handled by Jennings.
Yeah, I think it's also telling, Dwayne, that you see Billy Butler now. You know, it made news the other day when Ned Yost hit him 6th. And so now last night and tonight, he's down in the 7th spot.
Yep.
And this is not accustomed to hitting there.
Yeah, and you see the slugging percentage at 342. And we're going to see Alcides Escobar step in with an on-base percentage higher and a slugging percentage also higher than Butler. He also has 2 home runs, Escobar. Pitch inside, and you just wonder how long that can go on, because Butler has shown power his entire career. We talked about last night. He had 29 home runs 2 years ago and drove in over 100 runs, so he has to believe in his heart that he's got some pop to come.
Yeah, and you just wonder where it went, because that 29 went to 15 last year, almost in half, and then, you know, at 2.
Fly ball again. This time to left, and Geyer's there. So a base hit, and the man left. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. No score. Bottom of the second in the game tonight and all season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. James Loney all set to lead off against Vargas. Forsythe and Rodriguez will follow. Any deeper, Ryan Hannigan will hit. Rays had a 2-out single against Jason Vargas in the first. Pitch inside. Ball, no strikes. One count.
Well, lefties have hit Jason Vargas at a 286 clip coming into play. Righties just 249, although the bulk of the damage has come from the right side. 13 of the 14 homers.
Yeah, it's been a trade-off there. Higher average, but less power for left-handed hitters, and the righties showing all the power against him. Takes the count to 2-2.
Well, the one thing, too, with Vargas, you know, a lot of times left-handed pitchers, especially finesse guys, off of left-handed hitters, it causes them to run away a little bit from the changeup. Vargas does not do that. He still is going to attack these lefties with the changeup to go with that fastball and curveball. They're going to see it all just like the righties do.
A little tapper and Vargas off the hill to grab it. Throws a strike to first to Hosmer. Loney, the first man retired in the inning. Now Logan Forsythe. Pitch is in there for a strike. Well, the Rays dropping last night's game to Kansas City. Since 2012, the Rays are 4-13 against Kansas City. They've been outscored 96-44 in that stretch.
That's the big number.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't just been beaten. They've been beaten up.
Into center field. Kane right there in his footsteps makes the catch. So 2 gone.
Designated hitter, number 1, Sean Rodriguez.
Base is empty for Sean Rodriguez. Fastball is high to Rodriguez. Well, the Rays play the American League Central Kansas City Royals. The Dodgers and the Tigers are playing in Detroit. And the Dodgers scored 5 runs in the first off Verlander.
Hey.
5 in the first. His ERA over 5 now. Tigers batting in the bottom of the second, down 5-0. Liner up the left side. That's going to be a fair ball. Into the corner. Gordon tries to play the carom, has a little issue, and into second goes Sean Rodriguez with his 8th double of the year.
Now he dropped the head on a curveball here by Vargas. You see him rip that curveball down and in, and Rodriguez catching it out in front. Pulls the trigger early, keeps it fair, and gives the Rays a scoring opportunity here with 2 outs in the second.
So Gordon tried to play that quickly off the corner, and when it popped away from him, any hope of preventing a double was lost. Ryan Hannigan looks at a strike on the outer part of the plate.
You go back to talking about Justin Verlander, and the talk with him this year is the stuff not there, the velocity not there. Pitches have flattened out, trying to find it, and teams have been feasting on him more so than ever before.
1-1.
I think that's what this Royals team is hoping for, that to continue on. And that would give them obviously a better chance of catching the Tigers.
3.5 back right now. 5 in the loss column. Hannigan fouls it out of play. Now 1-2.
Yeah, that's the challenge. That's the challenge that power pitchers face. You know, when they are able to outstuff people and just dominate because of their arm and the velocity and the break they're able to put on their sliders, when that starts to go away, you had better know how to pitch. You'd better know how to move the ball around the zone. You better know how to sequence pitches, set hitters up. Because if you don't and you still try to outstuff, it's not going to work.
Down the left side, that's pulled foul. Out of play it goes. Yeah, that's where reputation doesn't carry the day. When you're a stuff guy and you start to lose some of that stuff.
No. And you know, I think that's one of the big differences that we see nowadays. I think that, you know, even just going back to when I played, the arms now, as far as depth goes, are much better. I mean, the velocities, the break on the breaking balls. I mean, there's just so much great stuff out there. However, when you watch guys, do they know how to pitch? I don't think that's as high.
More stuff guys than pitchers.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I think that's what right now, guys can just outstuff you. And you see some guys getting away with some of the worst sequencing you've ever seen. But the stuff is so good, it doesn't matter. And that's fine. But if the stuff starts to go away, then
yep, you're right.
You know, those sequences will start getting tattooed.
Yeah, and there's more of an emphasis on high velocity. When amateur players are scouted, much more emphasis on that. You always look for a good arm to start with. You need that to begin with, but it really is over and above, I think, what it used to be in that regard. So young pitchers come in fully aware of that.
They haven't had to learn how to pitch. They just rear back and they're just going to beat you because their stuff is better than your swing.
Hannigan out on strikes on a 3-2 changeup. The Rays get a double and leave Rodriguez at second. We go to the third. No score.
the mound for the first time in 2014 in game number 93 of the season for the Rays. His manager, Joe Maddon, talks about getting his right-hander back on the mound.
My job is to get the most of the best out of each one of these guys. So Hilly's here, man, and Hilly's back, and he's done some really good work for us. So my point is, when they're here, I anticipate they're going to be here for a long time. And so with that, when you're taking him out of games, how are you going to utilize him? You have to keep you're cognizant of all those things to preserve his health and make sure that he pitches well. So I'm eager to see this because, if he comes out like he can, it could be a big boost to us right now.
And so far, so good through the first time through the lineup. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Todd. And I think Hellickson wanted to get through that first to just get that out of the way and then go on about his business. So here we go, second time through the order. Lorenzo Cain, the leadoff man, and a curveball picks up the edge for a strike to begin him.
That can be a big weapon for Jeremy when you use that curveball. Not a lot of guys up there looking for that pitch to start off an at-bat. When you can spin it, drop it in there for a called strike, get the jump in a count, that is bonus.
Side with that one. 1-1. Jeremy missing 92 games of the season. Rays actually thought they would have him back much sooner than this from that January surgery on his elbow, and it really was more of a cleanup job in there. Some loose bodies in the elbow, and normally speaking, you'd think you would be back sooner.
Yeah, I mean, when there's no structural damage, usually a surgery like that, you come along much faster than Jeremy did, but he did acknowledge a couple of setbacks, and so you're just, listen, this is a cautious training staff all the way across the board. You've got a young pitcher that you have, more years that you'd like to get out of, so they're going to really err on that side of things, and so obviously his return pushed back a little bit.
Yeah, and for the most part, really the rule of thumb here with this organization has been caution, and it's really a smart way to do business when you think about each one of these players as an investment and what you want to get long term from them. Because the tendency can be to rush things sometimes, and you're playing with the odds a little bit there.
Oh yeah,
if you're going to start doing that. Pretty good pitch there.
Well, if you've got a guy like Jeremy on a rehab assignment or working out saying I've got some discomfort,
yeah,
that you're shut down. That's just the way it's going to be. I mean, there's no way as an organization with a young pitcher like that, you're going to have him push through that discomfort. You're going to get that out of there first.
To Cain, fouls it back. There was a time when pushing through was a little more common than it is now, but I think because of the major investments the teams have to make in talent, it just wouldn't make any sense to have that attitude. There are going to be cases when you go out there, as you well know, when you don't feel 100%.
Yeah,
but I mean, the difference.
You got to be able to discern.
Yeah,
that's right.
3-2 pitch again to Cain. Fouls this one away.
Is it soreness or is it pain? Mm-hmm. And usually you've been doing this for a long time and you've pitched through a lot coming up, through high school, college, if it may be, minor leagues. And so you know your body and you know the difference, and you just have to be honest with the training staff and proceed, whatever that path may be.
Third 3-2 pitch, and that was close. He tried to get him in and gives up the leadoff walk. Cain is on base for the second time.
Yeah, it's a gutsy pitch. Trying to close a guy out on a full count fastball in. You're counting on no swing. You think you have the guy set up for it, and so you really got to put your point of emphasis on execution, and that just missed.
Well, we've talked about that before. Basically, three things could happen. Two of them are bad. And he just did miss there, which makes it even more frustrating.
Absolutely. He had him set up for it. He got it in there a little bit too much.
Now he has to keep an eye on him at first. Lorenzo Cain had 2 stolen bases last night. He's 10 out of 13 on the year.
It will be a challenge, though, against this combination of Helix and Hannigan.
The strike. Quicken delivery there. You get a first pitch strike on the fastball.
And when you're able to do that, I mean, you put the onus on the base stealer. He really doesn't have much of a chance. Although you can see Cain's right here, that midpoint, that cutout right in the middle of his stance. A bigger lead than he had his last time out there.
And with that, Hellickson over to first.
And that first time up, that right foot was near the cutout. Now it's splitting the difference. When you see a guy get out that so far that his left foot is near that cutout, then you start to really look for him to go, because that is an aggressive big lead.
He's gone. Pitch is down. The throw not in time.
He left early. He left early. That's why that base was stolen. He timed up Jeremy Hellickson. Watch him leave early. He's off and running before Jeremy picks up that right foot. And it's still a good throw. It would have been even closer if it was on the other side of the bag. But boy, oh boy, he guessed correctly and able to swipe that bag. Not easy to do off Hellickson.
Thought that was Kevin Kiermaier out there for a moment. He's leaving before the train arrives.
Overamped. Overamped.
11 steals and 14 attempts now for Cain. Strike around the knees. Hellickson in a little bit of a spot here now with a man in scoring position. Nobody out. Hosmer, Perez, and Gordon coming up. Down to first. Will complete the strikeout. Hosmer out on strikes. First strikeout for Hellickson, and that's a very big out to get him.
Well, you keep him from having a productive at bat at least, and moving Cain over to third with less than 2 outs. The last 2 pitches this at bat, very good high quality curveballs. This is a lineup through and through. They do not strike out as a group very often. Fewest strikeouts in the MLB. Last night, Rizzi was able to get him for 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. A big one there by Jeremy.
Salvador Perez, who singled and scored a run in their 2-run third, who opened the scoring last night. Up here with 1 out, and Cain on second base. Fastball up out of the zone. 1 ball, no strikes. Hellickson slowing the pace even more with a runner on in this difficult situation. Man in scoring position. 2-0. Couple of fastballs out of the zone, and Perez not chasing. The strike, 2-1. So far, Hellickson not giving Perez anything to hit.
No, that's a good example right there. Well, he's a good fastball hitter, 2-0 count. Can't throw him a fastball. Well, yeah, you can if you locate it, and that's what he did. There wasn't much Perez could do with that. Maybe foul it off.
Two balls and a strike. Cut the miss. So 3 fastballs. He comes back with a changeup. And it's 2-2.
Yeah, this is how you really start to mess with a hitter. 2-0 heater. Well located. Okay, he's got to throw me 1-2-1 now. No, how about the changeup? Now you're not sure what he'll do. And oh, by the way, always lurking out there, that curveball that he got Hosmer with.
Pops him up. Came in with a fastball. Pops him up. Foul out of play. Hellickson up to 48 pitches. Jim Hickey and Joe Madden alongside each other there in the Rays dugout. Two balls, 2 strikes.
It's so long ago, I don't remember. I thought it was
that little tapper off the off-speed pitch, breaking ball. So he had Perez reaching for that one, just getting enough to foul it.
Well, he right now has Salvador Perez off balance. He's mixed his pitches well. He's pitched from behind effectively, and now he's got a chance to put him away.
Seventh pitch of the at bat, and it's foul up the right side. Back with a fastball. That ball is out of play.
That right there shows you how off balance Perez is, because that was his pitch to hit. That was a 2-2 heater that, for all intents and purposes, was right down the middle. Trying to go in, left it middle. Perez, all he could do was foul it off. And this is where Jeremy really slows down the pace.
But he has done that. This will be the 20th pitch of the inning. And he misses inside. Fastball in, so now the count is full.
Expect him right here to go back out away. And it could be with the fastball or the changeup, but something away, especially after that pitch so tight. Made him aware of it, not get him reaching.
The pitch around, the opening walk and the steal of second by Kane. And it's fouled away. You can see Hannigan set up out there. The fastball is fouled out of play.
He got the swing that he wanted from Perez. Perez just did a nice job of spoiling a tough pitch. Got a little battle going on here. Perez, one of the most productive hitters in this lineup, obviously hitting in the 3-hole. A runner in scoring position, a scoreless game.
He's about to make his 10th pitch of this at bat. And he got him. He struck him out. How about that? Off speed, had him out in front on a changeup. Long at bat, and Hellickson won that matchup.
Tell you what, I think the combination of how slow he works with runners on, especially runners in scoring position, really plays into that changeup.
I think it does. The thought occurred to me, as quickly as Vargas pitches and he sets that tempo to his advantage, it's the exact opposite for Hellickson. This slow tempo helps that changeup, and he works it to his advantage.
Everybody gets anxious.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's anxious, waiting for that next pitch.
Now Gordon takes the first pitch, curveball to start him, and that's in there for a strike.
You know, he's starting to tighten up his secondary stuff, and the curveball has been much better after that one that he kind of rolled in there that Perez took a real good swing at early on. That curveball has gotten better and better.
One ball, one strike. This is purely representative of Hellickson with that non-expression that he carries out there on the mound with him at all times. And just slowing it way down here, dealing with the middle of the order now. Gordon fouls it. Fastball away, foul the other way, and it's a 1-2 count. This really is vintage Jeremy Hellickson.
And I love him, but I hate this pace. I gotta tell you. But he does make it work for himself, that's for sure.
He gave up a walk and a steal. And now he's dealt with Hosmer, Perez, and he's ahead of Alex Gordon. He tried to break that one in, missed with it. 2-2.
The one thing that he has been able to do early on here is use all of his pitches and really to both sides of the plate. I mean, he really is moving the ball around well. Has not stayed in one particular spot with one particular pitch. And so the Royals at this point have no idea what he's going to come with next.
Fly ball into center field. He's going to get out of it, and Jennings takes care of that. He threw him a change. Man left in scoring position. No score, middle of 3. Field tonight. Now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in our broadcast later in the game. Brought to you by AT&T. Jeremy Hellickson getting out of that scoring opportunity for Kansas City in the top half of the third. Kevin Kiermaier opens the home half of the inning, and it's a fastball inside. 1-0. Vargas sets a rapid pace. Hellickson made 27 pitches in the top of the third. It took 18 minutes to do it. There's a broken bat pop up, and Vargas is going to make the catch. One away. But he made all of that work in his favor. Hellickson. 18 minutes for 27 pitches. How about that?
Yeah.
He's the starter's version of Joel Peralta. Peralta, we see him do that all the time. But they set their own pace and work at their pace. Desmond Jennings. Jennings is way up in the count now. He's got a 2-out base hit from Geyer in the first, a 2-out double from Rodriguez in the second. Sees Zobrist on deck, and Jennings trying to work his way aboard, and he does. He draws a walk on 4 pitches. So the Rays have some speed at first base now. Now Ben Zobrist.
Shortstop, Ben Zobrist.
Zobrist takes a strike on the outside edge. Zobrist stepping out, taking a look at Tom Foley, and it also varies the rhythm that Vargas gets himself into. Hot shot back toward the corner and right. Ibanez playing over that way, makes the catch, and the throw back to first. Hustling back in is Jennings. Well, Ibanez came up short on a couple of plays toward the line last night, but he was shaded a bit that way and got over there in time.
And I didn't think that your Jennings right there, I don't think he thought Ibanez was going to be able to get to that ball and then uses his speed to get back in there as Ibanez tries to double him off. But you're right, shaded that way, a pretty good jump, and able to come up with the play, saving extra bases and possibly a run here for the Rays.
Here's Brandon Geyer. In the first, and Jennings back in. You know, they've shaded Ibanez a couple of steps toward the line with Geyer up here. He's communicating with Kane out there in center field.
And there's Kane, Ibanez. That's the ground you're going to cover in right center. And that's where you try to protect Ibanez a little bit. So you move him closer to the line. He's going to be able to cover most things up the line and over into left center. He'll be able to, right here, Ibanez can cover this way, but then you got Kane shaded that way, and he's fast enough to cover over into here while still being able to maintain the left center field gap also. That's how you try to protect a guy that may not have the foot speed that he once did.
Fly ball. Kane is there for this one. To the walk and nothing more. Man left on base, and we go to inning 4, scoreless. Shields returned to the Trop, making his first start here in an opponent's uniform, and he was dominating. Shields with 10 strikeouts in 7 innings. And how about this? Our Toyota trend, only 2 American League pitchers to strike out 10 or more hitters without allowing a run in their first road start against their former team. Nolan Ryan did that against the Angels. And last night, Shields did that against the Rays. 33 of 34, Shields and Ryan. Omar Infante. Pitch is a strike. Infante lifted a fly ball into center, his first time. Infante, Moustakas, and Butler coming up. Ground ball to third, and Longoria makes the play. 1 up and 1 down. Mike Moustakas. Hellickson has now made 60 pitches. Joe Madden was talking about him making 100 to 110 pitches in this start. Curveball. It's in there, strike 1. Two. Here's the curveball. He's used the changeup. Spotted the fastball. Had a little trouble locating that pitch in the first inning, but he's gotten past that. He's made some good pitches.
I think you've seen the secondary pitches improving as the game has gone on. The fastball command's been pretty good, and you're starting to see a pitcher's confidence grow. And so he's willing to throw anything in any count right now.
You know, it's interesting to watch him last year. A frustrating season for him. He won 12 and lost 10, but his earned run average was over 5. And he really had 3 seasons in 1. You know, he really struggled there at the beginning, had a stretch in the middle where he pitched well, and then struggled again at the end. There just was not a lot of consistency in terms of command of pitches from him a year ago. High fly ball into right. Kiermaier puts that one away. So 2 up and 2 down in the 4th inning. You love rock and roll. Don't miss the Joan Jett and the Blackhearts post-game concert Saturday. First Catch the Rays take on the Blue Jays. Stick around to see Joan Jett sing some of her biggest hits, including I Love Rock and Roll and Bad Reputation. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com/concerts or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Here's Billy Butler. And up the middle it goes. A base hit on a fastball. He sent it right back into center. So how about Billy Butler? That gives him 11 out of 16 overall and 9 out of his last 10 against Hellickson.
We all have one of those guys that just tear you up. But you know what? In this situation, a single to Billy Butler, okay.
Yeah. And that's what most pitchers are thinking right now.
Yeah. First of all, it's a single. You're not worried about a single from Butler. On top of that, he's not a stolen base guy. He's going to clog up the base paths. You know, and so you're going to have to put together another couple of hits to score him.
Raul Ibanez looks at a strike. One ball, one strike. One the count. This one is foul the other way. Rays with the shift on. Longoria, the only man on the left side of the infield. Got a short right fielder. It's Logan Forsythe. There's nothing to do with his stature, or with his location in this defensive deployment in short right. A ball, two strikes. Chop back over the mound. Hellickson with the toss to first, getting Ibanez. No runs, a hit, one left. Home half of inning 4 coming, no score. July 15th, baseball's best gather in Minnesota as the captain Derek Jeter takes the field for his last All-Star game ever in what promises to be an emotional and unforgettable night. Special coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 All-Star game at 7:30 on Fox. Here at Tropicana Field, bottom of the 4th. Rays are facing Jason Vargas, 31-year-old lefty, and he faces the Rays' third baseman Evan Longoria. One strike. 1-1 now. Longoria, Loney, and Forsythe. Two. Evan grounded to short into a fielder's choice his first time against Vargas. Pops this one up. And down the line comes Moustakas. Perez, the catcher's there, and he's going to make the grab coming out from back of the plate about halfway up the third base line. And Perez handles that high pop foul.
Yeah, and had to wait for a long time for that to come down. It's Evan. Well, you see it right here, straight up. Perez finds it, gets a beat on it, lose the mask, drift, and make a catch.
Yeah. So Evan a frustrating 0 for 2 so far. And the Rays first baseman James Loney up there. Ball, no strikes. One ball, one strike count. Loney had a base hit in last night's game, one of 4 Rays hits. And that was of the infield type. 1 and 2. This one is out of play. How about this? The Tigers have come back with 5 in the second and now 2 in the third. And they've taken a 7-5 lead on the Dodgers. It's going to stay foul up the third base side. Still a ball, 2 strikes. Yankees lead the Indians in Cleveland 3-1 in the top of the 4th. It's pretty close, and Vargas thought he had a strikeout right there. So it's 2-2. Just missed. Foul ball.
Tell you what, he is making James Loney aware of the heater in, not afraid to come in there at all. That's part of the other reason that Vargas can be successful. Just willing to throw into righties and lefties. Also use that changeup with him. Ooh.
Full count.
He keeps trying that combo. Pound in, sneak one away.
Yeah, and a couple near misses away, too.
Yep. Good at bat here by Loney to last this long. Hope to get something out over the heart of the plate.
Line shot into right. Got the fastball and singles into right field. Well, that was an 8-pitch at bat. And Loney comes out of that with a base hit.
Doesn't want to walk him. Look where Perez is set up, right down the middle. This pitch is middle in, but Loney, who had seen some tough fastballs the entire at bat, gets one he can handle, and he does just that.
We'll get Logan Forsythe up there. Forsythe looked at a fly ball to center. A changeup got him the first time around. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch low. One and one. Rays coming into this game running 4th in the East, 9.5 back of Baltimore. The Orioles starting the day with a 3-game lead on the Blue Jays and 3.5 on the Yankees. Blue Jays will be in this weekend leading up to the All-Star break. They've lost 5 in a row. The Orioles have won 3 straight. It's the breakout right there. That's a check swing. Ball 3. 3-1.
That was going to be close here. Ball down in the zone, and that could have gone really either way. This time it goes to the way of Forsythe, and now it gets a 3-1 count to work with.
Yeah, the Rays may have actually gotten a break there. So let's see if they can capitalize. High popper, back of first. Hosmer angling toward the stands, and he just never could find it. Overran it. Trying to get to the spot where he thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that could be a potential break here for the Rays. This is a play that really should have been made, but we see this often with visitors having trouble picking that ball up against the roof and just clearly overran it, not really close, as it drops harmlessly to the turf.
The fan right behind him enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Arms up, big smile. Let's take a look at that. This is a great shot. Watch him in the blue cap. Starts to smile.
Yeah,
man.
Too good.
3-2, and Forsythe, a foul tip strikeout right back into the mid of Perez.
And that ball did not get where Vargas wanted it. That stayed more middle. And Logan, just a foul tip. Wants it in. Look where that's at. That's middle at 89.
Oh, so close. That's a great shot. The only way that shot could have been better is solid contact.
With no vibration in the bat.
That's right. Now Sean Rodriguez. And he aggressively out in front of that.
I'm going to tell you something right now. If I could pitch again, I would throw Sean Rodriguez a first pitch changeup every at bat because he wants to swing and he's gonna swing hard.
Yeah, it's just full out. Like he's spring loaded.
Oh.
Oh, 2.
He does not get cheated. And I'll tell you something, the average may not be there, but the power and the power potential certainly is. You just go back to that home run that he hit in New York on that road trip. That is a bomb. That's where the big boys go.
Yep. There's a double in this game. 0-2 the count right now. And pretty close. 1-2. You know, Jeff Nelson has made these pitchers throw strikes, and he's been right on the money. Those strikes that are that close, they're not strikes, and they are tough calls to make if you're the plate umpire. Two and 2 now.
Nice job by Rodriguez to lay off those last 2 changeups from Vargas. Might want to look for that fastball, trying to pop it in again.
Ground ball is short. Escobar to Infante for the force, and we are scoreless through 4. 92 games of the season. Jeremy Hellickson making his debut. A little issue in the first inning, but he got out of that to settle in and has pitched himself 4 scoreless innings.
As the game's gone on, you've seen him become more and more comfortable out on the mound. He's got a really good mix right now with the fastball, the curveball, the changeup. Not afraid to use both sides of the plate, throw all his pitches in all counts, and when you do that, you set yourself up to have a successful evening, which so far for Jeremy, that's what it's been.
You see 2 strikeouts. They came back-to-back after he had walked Lorenzo Cain, who stole second with nobody out. He struck out Hosmer and Perez, and then got Gordon on a fly ball to center. And here in the 5th inning, he'll face the shortstop, Alcides Escobar. And then we'll swing back around to the top of the order, Lorenzo Cain and Eric Hosmer again. 69 pitches through 4. The first pitch is a strike here to open the 5th.
And guess what? That was one of those early borderline pitches that was not going Jeremy's way. And, you know, he's been good around the zone, pitching well. So now you'll get that benefit of the doubt.
One ball, 1 strike.
And that's one of those borderline pitches, Dwayne, that you're just not going to get if you're not consistently around the zone. It's contradicting myself right there on 2 pitches. It's perfect.
You got to be flexible in life. Foul ball off his foot. It's now 1-2.
He has thrown these first 3 fastballs in here on Escobar. Obviously made him aware of that pitch. He finally swung at the 3rd one. This would be the time to go ahead and pop something away. You're going to catch him off guard regardless, and you're going to get a defensive swing.
Goes with the breaking ball, and he fouls it.
With the breaking ball and did not get it there. And that's the one pitch that Escobar had a shot on. Still well ahead and in control of this at bat. And one more quality pitch away from ending it.
And the pitch is wide, 2-2. Oh, he just misses in. Came in with a fastball and a full count now to Escobar leading off. And it's a high fly ball into center. Another fly ball for Desmond Jennings. And he makes the catch. That's the first out. Well, the Rays and the Royals in the middle game of this series. And tomorrow on our Mazda Wednesday showdown, Alex Cobb will make the start for the Rays against Giordano Ventura. We'll be with you at 6:30 on Sun Sports with our initial coverage, all the action. I'm coming off a victory on the 4th of July over the Tigers in Detroit. It's the top of the order, Lorenzo Cain. He fouls this one right underneath Hannigan. Cain has been on twice now. He's been on base 4 times in a row. His last 2 at-bats last night were singles, a couple of steals and a run scored. A single and a walk and a stolen base tonight. Out in front of that pitch, swinging over that. 0-2.
Rehab assignment. Who needs a rehab assignment?
Isn't it amazing?
It really is.
He really struggled. It took him longer out there. That 30-day period was up. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, last time out he had a pretty nice little outing, but you would think they might have had a little concern.
He had 4 starts down there in Durham, and his ERA was 7.2, and he had given up 38 hits in 18 2/3 innings. Alarming numbers. So what's he here? 4 2/3 shutout, and 0-2 here on Lorenzo Cain. 4 1/3 shutout, and throwing the ball very well.
Yep. In. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
There's something too about the attention level at the big league level that all of a sudden you lock it in like you've never locked it in before. You know that things have not been going well for you on the rehab assignment. You did have a nice outing your last time out, which is always big, and he carried that over to tonight and getting it done.
Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hosmer is on deck.
You know, and to complicate matters, you're going up against a team that kind of worked you over a little bit last year.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And that just adds to what Jeremy's been able to do here tonight. And it's by mixing those pitches very, very well.
There's a full count.
And you can tell by the reaction, that's the one he wanted. 2-2. Thought that he had him set up nicely for the hook, and he just spiked it.
Starting his 3rd time through the Kansas City lineup. One out here in the 5th. Looper that's going to drop into left center field. Geyer to it quickly. Big turn at first by Cain, and you've got to be heads up with him on a base hit like that. On base for the 3rd time and his 5th consecutive trip aboard.
And it does not get all of it. This ball gets in on him a little bit. You see it right off the label. See that label on the bat, and that's right where the ball is going to hit. As you see it come through the zone. Cain was able to swipe a bag his last time out there at first, but you'll remember he got that running start. He was starting towards second base before Jeremy had committed to the plate.
Rays get some action in the bullpen. Boxberger up. Over to first goes Hellickson. Back in Cain. This one will get through Hannigan, and down to second base goes Cain, who's in scoring position again.
Man, that one hurts there because you don't very often see that from Hannigan. This is going to go down as a wild pitch, but we've seen him make tougher blocks than this. This one he comes up just a little bit. That ball off the edge of his glove and able to sneak past him.
So Cain is in scoring position. He was left on third base in the 1st, on second in the 3rd. Now he's at second in the 5th with 1 out this time. 1-0 the count to Hosmer. Ground ball through the left side. Geyer charges it. Kane's going to stop at third.
And that could cost him right there. That ball hit out in front of Kane. He freezes. And not able to go anywhere past third base. And so you see where the defense is playing him. And you watch right here. He freezes. Like he almost didn't think that Zobrist was behind him, that he was more traditional short. And that cost him 90 feet.
Yeah, with a good jump and his speed. Here comes Joe Madden out, and he's going to make a move right here with men at first and third, and 1 out in the 5th inning. So Hellickson will depart after 4 1/3 in his first start of the year. Hellickson departs and will be back with the new pitcher in a moment. For 4 1/3, 84 pitches, giving up 6 hits. He leaves with a couple men on, 2 strikeouts and a walk. And you know, the no starting pitcher likes to come out early, but he's out in what Joe Madden perceives as a game situation here. Scoreless, men on the corners, and he wants Boxberger, who's been good getting strikeouts out of the bullpen.
You can hear him right now in his post-game comments. Joe's going to be like, well, you know, that's the point of the game we were at. We really didn't want him to move the baseball, so we brought in Boxberger because Boxy can strike out a bunch of guys. And that's what he's going for right here. He needs the punching.
Pitch is low to Salvador Perez. 1 ball, no strikes. That was well done.
I feel like I got a little out of hand there. I got way too into character. I felt like Kevin Kiermaier.
A little over boogieing, to quote Joe Madden.
But you know that's what he's going to say.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, that's what he is thinking right now.
Yep.
It's a 0-0 game. Men at first and third. And he wants the strikeout from Boxberger.
And this is those situations we talked about, how Joe will manage these games like it's a must-win playoff game.
Yep.
And so your starter, who's throwing the ball pretty well, comes out after 4 1/3 scoreless. So you can try to get the big punch out here.
95 and a cut and a miss.
You know, and Boxberger's the guy to do that. He's got big strikeout numbers. He's got that interesting arm angle where he really slings the ball towards the plate with plus stuff.
Missed wide with it. 2-2.
You know, and any time he can come back with that changeup too. Yep. And that's what you got to guard against. You see Perez starting to choke up a little bit on the bat. He's thinking, put the ball in play. Easier said than done with a guy who is bent on striking you out.
And there's a high chop to short. Zobrist's going to have to take it to first, and the run scores. Kane crosses the plate to make it 1-0. The run charged to Hellickson as Perez hits the man home from third.
You know, as weakly as that was hit, you got to tip your hat to Salvador Perez. Or maybe in this case, your helmet, battling Boxberger, and he's able to get that ball and put it into play. And that's all he needed to do. Boy, pops that ball right, almost hit the bat coming up off the turf.
Hosmer moved into second, so here's Alex Gordon. The first pitch to him is the changeup for a strike. Well, there's a case where Perez did choke up and was able to make some kind of contact that got the run home from third base. 0-2. Now to Gordon. Two strikes. And strike three called on the fastball. Gordon out on strikes. One run across the plate for Kansas City. Bottom of the fifth coming. 1-0 Royals.
As we head to the bottom half of the fifth inning, Joe Madden hasn't had the name Yunel Escobar on his lineup card for a little while. Escobar going on the disabled list while the Rays were on their recent road trip. Tonight was his first game back. Rehab game with the Charlotte Stone Crabs. Went 1 for 4, including a line drive out to center field. Scored a run, ended up playing all 9 innings. They thought he'd play at least 5, went the distance, and he'll DH tomorrow afternoon. And then it will be determined, could join the team as early as Friday. Also in that game, guys, Ryan Stanek out of Arkansas, #1 draft pick of the Rays last year in his Florida State League debut. 6 innings of 1-run baseball. Back to you.
And the bottom of the 5th inning underway with Ryan Hannigan taking the first pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Left-hander Vargas out there on the hill. The Rays down by a run. Hannigan, Kiermaier, and Jennings due up here in the bottom of the 5th. Now back and out of play. It's 2-1. Rays have been out hit tonight, 6-3. They had Rodriguez at second base with 2 outs when he doubled in the 2nd. It's been the only scoring opportunity for the Rays. They're nothing out of 1 with a man in scoring position. Now 3-1 here to Hannigan. And Kansas City with that chopper to short off the bat of Perez got the only run home on that out. But they are overall 1 of 7 with men in scoring position. And the count is full on Hannigan.
Now he got Hannigan on a full count changeup his last time up. That came with a runner out at second base after Rodriguez 2-out double. See if he comes back with the same thing here. Certainly don't want to walk the leadoff man. Give the Rays a base runner here with nobody out.
Tapper foul. You know, here's Vargas. He's not overpowering. He's 31 years old. But boy, he knows what he's doing. His dad was a high school baseball coach, so he grew up with a really good idea of what this game's all about. And that has translated through college and into the professional ranks. And as a major leaguer, this guy's such a quality pitcher who doesn't throw all that hard.
And he's comfortable with it.
Yep.
Completely comfortable with it because he knows what he's doing.
Hopper on the infield. It's Escobar, the shortstop, back of second. So 1 gone here. Time's running out to get your Rays Flex Packs. These 3, 6, or 9 game packs allow you to choose your games and offer huge savings, great member-only rewards, and special promotions throughout the season. And don't forget to get in on the action by submitting your Flex photos using hashtag RaysFlexFriday. You can be featured in Friday's broadcast. Flex Packs are only available until July 13th, so buy now before they're gone. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. That's a strike to Kiermaier. The count is 1-1. Two and 1. Top of the order next. That's Desmond Jennings. Kiermaier pops it up. And Escobar, shallow center out from shortstop, handles out number 2.
Well, you can see Jason Vargas has a game plan for every Rays hitters that comes up there. He's thrown well against them in the past. Had some success against the Rays. The Rays have gotten to him a couple of times. But this is a guy that comes in very well prepared, knows what he wants to do with each and every guy, and then it just comes down to a matter of execution. And more times than not, he's going to be the guy doing that.
And there's a strike to Jennings. Desmond 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. He's 3 of 18 in his career against Vargas with a home run. Change up is low, 1-1.
I'll tell you the other thing that he's been very good at this year is pitching on the road. Coming into this ball game, led the American League in road ERA. That's not changed.
1 and 2. Yeah, just a little over 1.5. Zobrist would be next if Jennings could work his way aboard. Fly ball center field. Zobrist is going to have to wait until the 6th. 5th inning is over. At the end of 5, it's 1-0 Kansas City.
Ramos is back from paternity leave. On Saturday, him and his wife Melanie welcomed their first child into the world, sweet little Addison Lynn Ramos. And here's a treat for you. You get to see a picture of her because Caesar put this up on his Instagram page. She is absolutely beautiful and perfectly swaddled by the new papa. Now, the couple chose to keep the sex of the baby a surprise the whole pregnancy. So when Caesar first laid his eyes on her, saw she was a girl, he could not believe the amount of emotion he felt, put the baby on Melanie, introduced her as their girl name, sweet little Addison. And we have a few new additions to this Rays family this year, and Jake McGee, he's up next. They're going to give birth on Thursday.
Well, thank you for the update, and nothing beats that.
No.
And the McGee's next in line. Now we go to the 6th. Omar Infante.
And the moment that it's a little girl, that you completely understand the phrase "daddy's little girl." You're like, I get it now.
Yep.
And I mean, it's instant.
It's magic.
It really is. I mean, first baby, Rylan May, little girl, and I remember standing at that warming bin and just like everything settling in, and that was the thought. I get it. It hasn't changed.
The liner in the center that's going to fall in front of Jennings. Infante's on for the first time. 7 hits collected by Kansas City. Mike Moustakas. One ball, no strikes. Infante on to lead off the inning. Third time in 6 innings that Kansas City has put the leadoff man on. The other two occasions involved Lorenzo Cain. A 2-0 count on Moustakas. One change up in there. Indians have taken a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 6th in Cleveland over the Yankees. Number to third. Longoria, Forsythe, one. First base in time for the double play. Moustakas grounds into the 5-4-3 double play to erase the leadoff base hit.
You know, those ground balls sometimes not that easy to handle because it's squibbed off the end of the bat, but Longoria does a great job of funneling that ball quickly to Forsythe, who then gets it over to Loney and able to beat Moustakas there by half a step.
So the bases are empty. And now Billy Butler, who had gone 2 for 2 off Hellickson, meaning he was 9 of his last 10 against Jeremy, now will face Brad Boxberger. First pitch is a strike. Oh, 2. Well, the Tigers scored 4 more in the 4th, putting some distance between the Tigers and the Dodgers. It's 11-5 Detroit. That after the Dodgers scored 5 in the first off Justin Verlander, who is still in the game.
You talk about answering. My goodness.
Still 2 strikes with a foul ball.
Well, overall, just a very, very interesting year in Major League Baseball. I mean, parity has come home to roost.
Tigers have 11 runs and 14 hits in the first 4 innings. High fly ball back into center, and Desmond Jennings makes the catch. No runs, a walk, a double play ball, nobody left, and we go to the home half of inning 6. 1-0 Kansas City. Kansas City with the only run in the 5th, and their left-hander Jason Vargas has limited the Rays to just 3 hits and a walk.
Well, he has been very, very good moving the ball around. Again, fastball, changeup, curveball, both sides of the plate. Just 3 hits. No runs. That's the bigger deal right now, is they've been able to plate one. The Rays have not. And maybe Ben Zobrist gets it started for him here.
Yeah, Ben Zobrist has been swinging a hot bat. Let's see what he can do. He takes the first pitch, a curveball in there for a strike.
And did you see he started that pitch off the plate away, and just breaks it right down to the outside corner to get ahead.
1-1. Grant Balfour up in the Rays bullpen.
You know, this is what's going to get interesting for Joe Madden, is he went to Boxberger so early in this game that you still got to cover, 7th, 8th, and 9th. You start to think you got Balfour, you got Peralta, you've got McGee, and that's probably what he's starting to type in right now.
Ground ball deep into hole and through. Base hit into left for Zobrist. The Rays put their leadoff hitter on base for the first time in this game.
Well, Ben has been hot against lefties. He's been hot against Jason Vargas in his career, and he does it again.
There's the contact on the base hit by Ben Zobrist. Now Brandon Guyer had a base hit with 2 outs in the first inning. 1 for 2 tonight. Fouls the first one the other way for a strike. The Rays saw Vargas back in April. It was in Kansas City when he got his first Kansas City win, and that was against the Rays. In 8 innings, he gave up 1 run, 4 hits. Kansas City won that game 4-2. Foul back. Fastball up and out over the plate. Rays with no runs, 4 hits off Vargas tonight. A run, 4 hits in 8 innings against him back in April. He walked 1 and struck out 2. It's low, and Perez covers it.
Well, you've got to have faith. You've got to have faith in your backstop to be able to block that pitch. Got a runner on first. Ben Zobrist, a good base runner. And Vargas not worried at all about dropping that curveball into the dirt.
Now 2-2. Evan Longoria, the on-deck man. Vargas in the mid-90s in pitch count. Line drive, base hit into left. Zobrist's going to head to third. He'll make that. Guyer headed into second. Beat the throw. Guyer hustling his way into second base, and the Rays aggressively now have a threat with men at second and third and nobody out.
Alex Gordon, 2 things. Indecision, 1. Laziness on the throwback in, number 2. And that's what cost him. This is a pitch right here, changeup that stayed up, and Guyer just trying to put a ball in play, just wraps the swing around it. And watch Alex Gordon here, thinking about going for Ben Zobrist. So a little indecision there, and then lazy getting the ball back in, and that's what Guyer picks up on. and able to sneak in there. Boy, that's a huge play. That's the difference between winning games and losing games.
You're absolutely right about that. So the Rays suddenly have a major threat with Evan Longoria at the plate and 2 men in scoring position. Pitch outside, 1-0. And Joe Madden will tell you as Aaron Crow gets up in the bullpen for Kansas City, that type of aggressive base running is what he wants to see out of his club at every opportunity. Line drive, base hit into right. Zobrist will score. Foley's going to wave Geyer to the plate. He will score standing up. And the Rays lead 2-1. Evan Longoria comes through.
Now you hang around long enough. You take advantage of leadoff base hit. You take advantage of Alex Gordon out in left field. And then Evan Longoria, breaking ball down and away, shoots one to right. And just that quickly, the Rays take control of this game. And I mean take control. They got a 2-1 lead now. You got that back end of the bullpen lubed up, ready to go.
Well, Geyer's heads up base running set this up. And he scores the go-ahead run.
That's the difference. That is the difference. Boy, that's what a huge job by Brandon Geyer.
Zobrist and Geyer have scored. Longoria's at first, nobody out. Dave Island, the pitching coach, spending some time with Vargas before he faces Loney. Pitch is inside. James singled in the 4th. Had an extended at bat against Vargas and came out of that with a single. That's a strike. The count is 1-1. Vargas on the verge of making his 100th pitch. Threw 111 pitches in his last outing against Minnesota. Pitch number 100 is wide. 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. There to catch it. That's the first out.
Number 10, Logan Forsythe.
Logan Forsythe, nothing of 2. Strikeout came in the 4th inning. Strike on the outside edge. White Sox leading Boston. Red Sox coming into bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's 5-3 Chicago. Popped up by Forsythe. Infante backpedaling from second. So 2 outs with Evans still at first. And we'll see what Sean Rodriguez can do this time around. Sean 1 for 2 with a double. Sean had a 2-base hit his first time in the second. Takes the pitch low. 1 ball, no strikes.
I'm going to campaign right now. New chair. I just keep.
Where are you? Oh,
I keep
there
sinking.
you are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, unless you've done this.
Why would I do that?
Well, you know how you come into the meeting room and the boss is always sitting up just a little bit higher to kind of exert that authority over you. Well, that's what it feels like right now because I'm constantly, I can't even see the field.
You're way too suspicious, but you're still doing a great job.
Well, I've got
just keep up the good work.
I've got a good monitor. Listen, this is how I live up here. When in doubt, you go to the Joe Madden impersonation.
That's it.
And you get real groovy. You start moving your hands around and shoulders. You throw out some words that most people don't get, and you go with that.
Yeah, why not? Seems to be working.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get somebody to address that.
Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. I need a booster seat.
You've never been in that position.
Not that I can remember.
No. 3 balls and a strike. So there you go.
Yeah. Yep. Have fun. Don't try to sit down and join me. Don't try to make me feel like we're a team up here.
In the next shot, our chins will be just above the deck here. There's ball 4. That's going to be it for Vargas. You see a pitching change with Ryan Hannigan due, so the Rays get to Vargas for 2 here in the 6th inning, and he's going to leave with 2 men on. We'll be back in a moment. Out of this game. Pitching change came just in the nick of time. Could somebody get me a phone book now?
Let me tell you.
Where are you?
Let me tell you what came in the nick of time, Dwayne. A new chair.
I know. Look at that.
And boy, do I feel like an executive.
Boy, that's quality stuff there,
too.
too.
It is. It quickly was put in here. Feels much better than the last one. I feel like we're even again. Somewhat.
It was the right-hander Aaron Crow taking over for Jason Vargas. Runners at first and second. This pitch is blocked by Perez. Slider below to mid-80s. The numbers on Crow.
35 in the 3rd inning. Just 20 strikeouts to go along with the 9 walks. Opponent's average of 220.
Time granted by Jeff Nelson at the request of the catcher Perez. Zobrist and Geyer have scored, driven home by Evan Longoria, who's now on second. Rodriguez walked, is at first. Hannigan 0 for 2. He's been good with men in scoring position this year. Over 300. Takes that pitch in at 92, 1-1 now. Grant Balfour still up in the Rays bullpen. Ground ball to short. Throw to first from Escobar to retire the side, but the Rays take the lead. Ben Zobrist opened with a base hit. Geyer hustled his way into a double, and Evan Longoria brought them home with a base hit to right. 2-1 Rays. Two to 1, the Rays lead. We're headed into the 7th inning. Rays fans, don't miss tomorrow's Wednesday night showdown presented by Mazda. The Rays take on the Royals. Our coverage begins at 6:30 right here on Sun Sports. That's another Web Wednesday. And Todd Callis already at work gleaning through the questions.
You got to keep your eye on that guy right there. Keep your eye on that guy right there. Yes, at all times. Boom.
You know, he's always happy.
Giddy.
Yeah. Always a positive influence.
That is very true. I don't remember him ever having a bad day.
Well, if you were Todd, could you have a bad day?
No.
Impossible.
No. When I'm having a bad day, I pretend I'm Todd, and I come right out of it.
Get you right out of it. There you go. Apparently having a mixed drink. So we go to the 7th.
It's after 9.
Here's Raul Ibanez to lead off. Grant Balfour on the hill now for the Rays. One ball, no strikes. Ibanez twice has been retired. Once on a fly ball to center, and the last time on a comebacker to the mound. Rays have the shift on for him.
And this is about as dramatic as you will see, as you got Logan Forsythe way out there in right field. And that's obviously Raul Ibanez does not run well at this point, and so you put Forsythe that far back, gives him more range, and he can still make that throw to retire Ibanez.
2-1. So the Rays scoring 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Brad Boxberger becomes the pitcher of record. An inning in 2/3 with a hit, no runs, and a strikeout posted by Boxberger. Now to play the other way, and it's 2-2. Mercedes Escobar, the on-deck man. Grant goes to 3-2 with Ibanez. Fly ball lifted into left, and Geyer makes the catch, 1 away. Brent Balfour worked on Saturday in the Chris Archer game against the Tigers. Up the final 2 outs on strikeouts. And here's Escobar. Which is a strike.
Grant's starting to show a little bit more confidence in that fastball. Using that to set up the slider. He's very good with it to the left-handed hitter's arm side, keeping it away from him. And then it's the fastball away, the slider against the righties.
0-2. He's ahead of Escobar.
And that makes him even more effective when he's able to do that. And that's what Joe Madden had been imploring him to do, to attack that strike zone early and not put himself behind where you run the risk of a walk. You run the risk of bad counts and big swings by hitters.
Yeah, in Joe's mind, he's pitching backwards doing that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be in that position.
Just it really makes the road that you hoe that much tougher. Where you go out there and try to set the tone yourself. You know, he's going to be a 1-inning guy anyway for the most part. So come out and just let her go.
And a cut and a miss at that one in the dirt. Hannigan retrieves it down to first, and Escobar is out number 2. Big slider in the dirt right there. 2 gone. We'll join the Rays as we welcome our friends from the north when the Rays host the Blue Jays Friday. It's July 11th. Fans can get a Rays umbrella to take cover from the Florida rain exclusively with the purchase of a Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem. Get your ticket tandem now by visiting RaysBaseball.com/tandem or by calling 888-FAN-RAYS. Lorenzo Cain lines it into right toward the line. Kiermaier on the run and a dive. That ball's going to get by him and go to the wall. Back into the corner. Cain rounding second on his way to third. The throw not in time. A 3-base hit for Lorenzo Cain, who's on base for the 6th consecutive time over the last 2 games.
Boy, so tantalizing, that ball off the bat, and Kiermaier sells out. That is the risk that you run. Now quickly to his feet in recovering, but he goes all out to make the play, ends up about a foot and a half short. And that's going to allow Cain to get all the way to third base. But here with 2 outs, you can still retire the hitter at the plate and be done with this inning.
Cain's 3rd triple of the year. And the hitter is Eric Hosmer. Hosmer singled in the 5th. He was the final hitter faced by Hellickson.
And this is an at-bat that Grant needs to be careful. You know, he's got the good arm side fastball. He'll backdoor the slider, but we've seen Eric Hosmer with tremendous plate coverage on pitches away. So he will be more apt to be able to get to those than maybe some other guys. Long limbs and good coverage.
Well, his first hit in last night's game was like that. That was a changeup from Odorizzi, and he actually reached off the plate and hit it into left.
And that's what you're thinking here. You're thinking the fastball away and Hosmer shooting it the other way, especially when you have Ben Zobrist pulling him up the middle just a little bit. Shortstop position is wide open.
2-0 the count. Out of play down the left side on the fastball. 2-1. Grant, the third Rays pitcher. Hellickson pitched 4 1/3. Made 84 pitches. Brad Boxberger an inning and 2/3. Now 4, 2 outs, a man at third. In the 7th inning, a 2-1 count to Hosmer. Too low. 3-1. And he lost him. Fastball missed. So the walk follows the triple. First and third, 2 gone.
Well, once he fell behind Hosmer, there was just no reason to give in to him. You can live with that. You got to make pitches here to Perez, and he's no picnic in the park either. But Eric Hosmer, once you fall behind with his plate coverage and the fact that you were probably going to stay on the outer half anyway, that would have given him too good of an opportunity. So you let him go, but you got to get Perez.
Perez 0 for 3. He drove in the run with a chopper back in the 5th inning. Pitch is low. Starts him with a slider, and it's a 1-0 count. Down at third, Kane. He tripled with 2 outs. Hosmer aboard across the diamond at first, drawing the walk.
Now that tells you a lot about Perez in this at bat. He wants to swing, and that was a ball out of the hand. Slider down below the zone, aggressively going after it. And Grant Balfour can pick his locations from here on out. Try to take advantage of the aggressiveness of Perez.
And that one out of the zone. He chased it.
That's just smart veteran pitching. The pitch before that told you. And he's going to swing, so take it a little further out. And you know what? You go right back there. Now that he's down in the count and looking to try to protect.
A ball, 2 strikes. It's fouled. And a fine grab by that fan right there in the front row. First and third with 2 outs. Ground ball back to the hill. Balfour with his flip to Loney. That takes care of the Kansas City threat. They leave 2. 7th inning stretch time. The Rays lead 2-1. Welcome back to Tropicana Field. On to the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Rays with a couple runs in the 6th to take a 2-1 lead. Grant Balfour getting out of a spot in the top of the 7th, leaving men at first and third. The lead off for the Rays in the bottom of the 7th is Kevin Kiermaier against Aaron Crow. And the first pitch from Crow is a strike. Kiermaier lines it off the mitt of Hosmer. Infante with a pickup and right back to Hosmer to retire Kiermaier. Hit the ball extremely hard off that big first baseman's mitt. But Infante was right there to make the play.
Well, you know, Hosmer's playing in just a little bit because of the fact that Kiermaier will bunt. You see him right there at the cutout at the edge of the grass or the turf. And look at those eyes. That tells the whole story. Look out. Actually ripped through the glove.
Jennings takes a strike.
Might want to go take a look at that glove and see if it's not. I'm telling you, that ball, I don't think it went off the edge of the glove as much as it went through it.
In the dirt, 1-1. Let's take another close look at that.
That looked to me to go right through the webbing. That looks pretty solid there.
Yep. Well,
he would know. He better know. I'll tell you what,
that's why you need multiple angles.
And think about that.
Yeah.
From that angle on Phantom Cam, looks like it rips right through the webbing.
Yeah.
So even when you're going to New York to make a call, to confirm, stand, all that stuff. You're right. You need more than one angle.
Your brain is making assumptions that your eyes really don't see. Fly ball into right. Ibanez on the run and makes a sliding catch to retired Jennings.
That's a nice play there by Ibanez, getting a good jump. Now, did the ball really go in his glove?
Two gone. And now Ben Zobrist. Ben's base hit in the 6th inning started the Rays en route to 2 runs and grabbing the lead. There's Joel Peralta in the bullpen for the Rays. It's 1-1 to Zobrist. Rays have 2 runs, 6 hits. Fly ball into center. Kane is there to catch it. We've completed 7 innings with the Rays leading this game 2-1. As promised earlier in the contest, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
DJ Kitty got it started early tonight.
Might end early.
Oh, it's over. You're laying on concrete up against the wall. Your night is done.
Joel Peralta enters the game here to work the 8th inning. Rays holding a 1-run lead. He'll be facing the middle of the Kansas City order.
Nothing shocking about that. Middle of the order, Peralta, 8th inning. You've been there many, many times.
Alex Gordon. Peralta worked an inning in Friday's game in Detroit. Alex Gordon, then Omar Infante and Mike Moustakas due up. First pitch is down. Cicely Bueno, the lefty, throwing in the bullpen down there for Kansas City. One and one. Into center field. Jennings with room. One away.
How many times are you going to tell you? The ball is not traveling to center field tonight at all. There have been a couple, three balls hit what looked like very well.
Well, how about Perez
trajectory? Yeah.
In the first inning, that hanging curveball.
They're not even getting to the warning track.
So let Jennings go back there and catch him, and he's done that. There's Infante. 7 putouts tonight for Desmond Jennings. And the first pitch, fastball, is a strike to Infante. Infante had a base hit in the 6th inning, and the Rays erased him on a double play ball. Just for the record, the Rays record for putouts by a center fielder shared by B.J. Upton and Gerald Williams. 9. 7 so far for Jennings tonight. Ground ball right side through the open right side.
Yeah, that's, you know, so many times we see the Rays and the way that they shift their infield. They're very aggressive when they do that. They'll do it against righties as well as the lefties. But Omar Infante just seems to be one of those guys who's set up very well, that if you're going to play him that way, he can do that all day long. Look at that. Ton of room there on the right side. You pitch him away. Handles the bat well. Takes his base hit.
Well, here's Moustakas the last time up. Grounded into a 5-4-3 double play with Infante aboard. Pitch low and covered by Hannigan. No strikes. Kansas City scored a run in the 5th. The Rays got 2 in the 6th inning. Cut to miss. Moustakas aired it out. Missed it. After the fastball, it's 2-1.
You know, that was a challenge fastball there by Peralta, down in the count, and he just powers that pitch right by him. And by doing that, now you've set up everything else from here on out. Because Moustakas was just beaten badly by that heater up in the zone, just above the swing.
Now a 3-1 count. They have Billy Butler on deck. Jake McGee up in the Rays bullpen. out of play and runs the count to 3-2 on Moustakas. So with McGee busy in the Rays bullpen, Wade Davis had joined Bueno in the Kansas City bullpen down the left field line. 1-run ball game in the 8th. All the different possibilities looming in the respective bullpens. A step back by Peralta. Peralta's 3-2. Line drive over the head of Forsythe into right. Kiermaier quickly in to scoop it. 2 men on with 1 out. Moustakas got it just out of the reach of the leaping Forsythe.
Yeah, he was able to sweep the swing right here. See him go down and get that. And hits that line drive that just going to get a couple of feet over the jump there of Forsythe, and now you got runners first and second with just 1 out, and Billy Butler strolling to the plate.
Well, Butler is 2 for 3 tonight. His 2 hits came off Hellickson. Boxberger got him on a fly ball to center. Butler hitting .270 on the year. Pitch is low. Peralta. Now Peralta, not necessarily a ground ball guy, but Butler can be ground ball prone. Fouls this one. It's 1-1.
And he may have just gotten his 1 pitch in this at bat to hit. That was a hanging breaking ball that he took a big hack at. And you're right. You know, this is where Peralta, though, with good finish on pitches, can go try to do something with the split, with the breaking ball. That one can't throw it there, at least not again, and get something on the ground. Butler does not run well, and that could set up very well for the Rays getting out of this inning.
The 1-1. And he hits a high fly ball left center field. Geyer will go back to make the catch, and the runners will hold at first and second. So Butler's fly ball caught by Geyer. 2 outs. So with 2 gone, Raul Ibanez due, and that brings Joe Madden out of the dugout with Jake McGee ready in the bullpen. So a pitching change coming for the Rays, and we'll be back in a moment. Moustakas at first. Moving away to Jake McGee. Ibanez, the scheduled hitter, to Danny Valencia. Will pinch hit for him, so McGee will face the right-handed hitting Valencia.
Now, that was something that we thought about before this matchup happened. We saw McGee warming up. You figured it was for Ibanez, but you know that Yost is going to leave Ibanez, and you immediately think Danny Valencia for the success that he's had off of David Price. He's a proven guy that can get around on a good fastball, and Jake McGee is going to have one of the best that he'll see.
Well, Valencia 1 of 1 against McGee. That was a base hit. 297 for the year.
It's one of those decisions that Joe has to make beforehand. Who do I like better, Peralta on Ibanez or McGee on Valencia? Because that's the matchup that you're going to get. And this is what he's chosen.
And the pitch popped up foul. That'll carry back out of play. Mid-90s fastball to start this at bat. This is the first pinch hit appearance by Valencia this year. 28 games. It's the breakout lefty righty. And he shoots it into right field. Kiermaier is there. He'll make the catch to retire the side. He took that fastball, lined it into right. Kiermaier caught it. Rays hold the 2-1 lead.
Of the 8th, and you're not going to want to miss Game 3 against the Royals. So tune in at 6:30 tomorrow for Rays Live, the pregame show, driven by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. It'll be Ventura versus Cobb. We'll break that down. It's also Web Wednesday, and you know BA had that successful rant last week. So start submitting those questions using the hashtag AskRays. And of course, our postgame show tonight, Todd Orestes and Orestes' ball, Julio, if you didn't know, that's its name, will be hosting out in left field. Dwayne and BA, always love your insights, and I'll be in the clubhouse, guys.
We'll look forward to that. Here's a bunt by Geyer and a good one. Bueno's not going to be able to pick it up. So Brandon Geyer, who hustled his way into a double in the 6th, turned out to be a very big play then. Puts down an excellent bunt to open the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, speaking of Bueno, take a look at this. He just drops it down. No man's land. Even if he comes up with this, spins and throws, he is not going to get Geyer.
Third hit for Geyer. Lorenzo Cain goes over to play right. Rod Dyson is his name. It's hit center field. I don't know why that was so difficult. Wasn't difficult last night.
You were excited about that bunt, doggone it.
That bunt was outstanding. Now throw to first, and he just got back in.
You got to be careful.
Yes, with Perez back there.
Yep, he's got a quick release. More times than not, you're going to do that with a left-handed hitter. But he catches Geyer here almost a little bit too far off.
Want to know the count to Longoria. 1 strike. Bueno, born in Cuba, lives in the Dominican Republic, makes his 12th appearance.
Pretty good numbers at ERA under 1. 12 2/3. Not a big strikeout guy, but effective nonetheless.
With a name like Bueno, your numbers have to be good.
He's my favorite pitcher ever.
No choice.
If I was a pitching coach, I'm telling you, we've done this before, but you have to make a visit to the mound. You just tell him, listen, just be yourself. Pat on the back, head back to the dugout.
It's all good.
Simple. Just keep it simple. And if he comes in tomorrow, I'm going to bring out the same joke.
Okay.
Be here all week.
So Geyer at first, bunting his way on.
Comes up with that front leg, that little kick at the end is the dead giveaway to the base runner that he's coming over.
Another snap throw to first. Runner back in.
So you'll notice there where when Bueno's heading to the plate, he tucks the leg and delivers the ball to the plate. When he's going to first, leg comes up, foot kicks way out. That's where that move will not be effective. The only way that you're going to get anybody is on first movement. Watch, no leg kick here. Look at tuck and right to home plate. Goes to first. That toe will kick towards first.
The chop headed to short. Escobar steps on the bag, safe everywhere. Escobar with a bounding chopper decided to try to play it himself at second.
When are they going to understand that Brandon Geyer hustles? And any indecision, he's going to take advantage of. He victimized Alex Gordon earlier in this game. And then Escobar coming from so far away. He beats him to the bag, and Evan beats the return throw. How about this? Good hustle. Get in safely. And that just shows you right there that even if Escobar beats him to the bag, he wasn't going to get Evan anyway.
So Evans going to get a base hit out of that. No, they're going to change it. They're going to change it. A fielder's choice. That would be the first ruling of choice. And that they announced a base hit, but then quickly changed it.
Everybody's giddy, excited right now.
Was that bunt?
That's right. It was the bunt. Yeah. Got things started. Well, you know what? Listen, Rays are still being aggressive here. Great job by that guy tonight all around. Having a nice night, good hustle, smart play there with the bunt, taking advantage. Base hit, looking to add on to this lead late in the game.
Well, James Loney against the lefty. Breaking ball outside. 1-0. Cleveland beat the Yankees. Indians 5, New York 3 in Cleveland. going to go back to the wall. Geyer scores. Longoria is going to be stopped at third on the double by Loney, and the Rays get another run. It's 3-1.
Now, how about it? Fastball middle in, Loney. Quick hands to the baseball. Ropes one. Out into right field. Look at that. 0 stride. Just pick that heel up, put it back down. Stays close, lets his hands do the work. And the Rays do add on.
Nobody out. A chance to put a little more distance in that score. Infield will have to come up with Logan Forsythe facing the lefty Bueno. First pitch is a strike. Rays now with 8 hits in this game. All of this started by the bunt from Geyer, who has scored for the second time tonight. Strike. The right side will wind up out of play. Two runs in the 6th, another run in the 8th, and an opportunity for more.
Yeah, you get a chance to blow this thing open here with nobody out.
Sean Rodriguez on deck. Two and two. To catch it, the tag at third. Longoria heads to the plate. Loney tags and goes to third. Logan Forsythe comes through with a sacrifice fly to make it 4-1.
Yeah, and he comes through in more ways than one. First of all, the sac fly to score the run, always important. Yet he got it deep enough to right field that allowed then James Loney to move from second to third. So now he's at third with just 1 out. So a little double duty there for Forsythe.
And what that means is they're going to have to keep the infield up.
Yeah.
Sean Rodriguez.
Good luck.
Yeah, not the safest place to be with the way Rodriguez swings the bat.
Yeah. Now you put a runner in scoring position and an RBI sitting out there. Watch these swings.
Picks a ball outside. Couple of off-speed pitches from Bueno to start the at-bat. And a big cut. 2-1.
It's just a matter of time.
High shot down the right field line toward the corner. That ball is gone, And so was Kane, or at least part of them, for a moment. Ball is foul. Kane out of play. Well, Lorenzo Cain is turning out to be one heck of a player for Kansas City.
He sure is. And we've seen that on full display here the first 2 games of this series. Stolen base threat, hustles.
Impressive.
Yep.
Oh, a cut and a miss by Sean.
Tell you what was impressive was that breaking ball. And that got the look from Sean Rodriguez, because this thing was filthy. Was that it?
That's a tough pitch, I'll tell you.
That's what he's saying. It moved this much. That may have been a split. Well, originally it looked like a breaking ball. I think Sean's talking, trying to figure out what that thing was, because that was dirty. That's what he's telling Derek Shelton. Yeah, look at that.
It is a
That's
split.
a split, and that looked like a slider with tremendous depth. Slider, splits usually don't move across the body like that. They have finish at the end. That was dirty.
Yeah, that's a split slider.
Something that Sean hopes he never sees again.
It's a slider.
I used one of those in some home remodeling this winter. Worked out very well.
1 ball, no strikes, the count to Brian Hannigan. Rays with a couple runs home in the 8th. Breathing room here late in this game. Two and nothing. Rays got 2 runs off the starter Jason Vargas in the 5 2/3 innings he worked. Aaron Crow an inning and a third scoreless. Got a couple runs off Bueno here in the 8th. He's behind Hannigan. 3-0. Rays have Kiermaier on deck. Ball 4 is wide. Hannigan heads to first, aboard for the first time tonight. White Sox have an 8-3 lead on Boston in the bottom of the 9th inning. Blue Jays and the Angels in Anaheim. No score, bottom of the 1st. Red Sox game has gone final now, 8-3. Chicago over Boston. Ground ball, third, grabbed by Moustakas, throw to first. It's dug out by Hosmer to retire Kevin Kiermaier. Rays score 2 and carry a 4-1 lead into the 9th. may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Geyers had himself a very good night. 3 out of 4 with a couple of runs scored. He has displayed outstanding hustle in this game to help the Rays cause.
We just love the energy that he brings, the way that he's playing the game right now. Comfortable with the increased playing time and showing no signs of any kind of drop-off. He just continues to get better and better, more confident. The more that he's out there, he's fun to watch.
Jake McGee got the final out in the 8th. He's out here in the 9th inning with Alcides Escobar, the Kansas City shortstop, to lead off. Then the top of the order, Lorenzo Cain and Eric Hosmer.
Pretty big too here for McGee, getting a couple of extra runs. Always nice to have a little bit of a cushion. 2-1 to 4-1, big deal.
Well, he had a little time in the Rays dugout, a little over 20 minutes in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch, fastball, misses. Alcides Escobar 0 for 3. The Baltimore-Washington game postponed. Toronto on the West Coast. The Yankees lost. Red Sox lost. There's a strike. It's 2-1. By the way, it's the first time in 47 consecutive seasons that the Red Sox have lost 50 games before the All-Star break. 39 and 51 right now. 3-1. The Yankees drop a half game to Baltimore. They're 4 back right now, running 3rd. 3-2. Strike 3 called. McGee comes back to get Escobar on strikes. Escobar parting word with Jeff Nelson.
Well, here's the fastball right there on the corner. You see everything in on Escobar. And that one right over that inside corner. Here comes four-seam heat. Love how his eyes never leave the target. And I think that has a lot to do with his increased better command that he has shown this year. He really lines up, eyes on the target, head on the target, the body works around the head, and the ball explodes out of the hand.
There's a strike. 1-1. Ground ball headed toward the middle. That's going to be a base hit into center. How about Cain? He's been on base 5 times tonight. Back into last night 7 consecutive times.
Breaking ball here by McGee. It just never gets to its spot. Kind of rolls in there and it stays up. That allows Cain to get a good read on it, stay back, and use the middle of the field. And you're right. I'll tell you, anytime you've got a guy like Cain and you're saying, you know, tonight you're going to reach base 5 times as a leadoff hitter, have a stolen base, be active on the base paths, you're thinking 1 run?
Yeah, that's right. Right now they are 1 of 10 with men in scoring position.
Yeah, Rays pitching have really stepped up when they've needed to make big pitches.
So here's Hosmer taking a strike. top 2 men in their order right now have had 9 plate appearances. They've been on 7 of those 9 plate appearances. That's a frustrating night.
Oh boy. You give yourself opportunities, but you know what? That's where you tip your hat to the Rays staff across the board. They've really bared down in the tight spots and held the Royals to just 1 run.
That'll play into the upper deck.
But you know what? That's part of the problem with this Royals offense, with the lack of home runs. You really force them to have to put together innings where if they don't have a base stealer out there, they're going to have to put together 3 hits to score a run. They really have to do all the work themselves, and sometimes that's just too big of a burden to bear.
There's a 1-2 to Hosmer. That's a fair ball just inside the left field line. Geyer to cut it off. Headed into third is Kane, and Hosmer into second with a double.
Well, how big is that bottom of the 8th now? The 2 extra runs from the Rays to give the 3-run cushion. As Hosmer, we talked his last at bat off Balfour, his plate coverage. How about that?
You know, he did the same thing with that pitch that he did with the changeup in last night's game in the 3rd inning.
Yep, and that's why it was wise when Balfour fell behind him, just kind of move along and go to Perez, because of the ability to cover those pitches off the plate, hit the ball with authority the other way.
Salvador Perez drove in a run with a chopper to short back in the 5th. Two men in scoring position in the 9th inning in a 4-1 game. There's a base hit into center. Kane's going to score. They're going to send Hosmer to the plate, and suddenly it's a 1-run ball game as Perez, who had gone 0 for 3 tonight with men in scoring position, but with one of those outs had driven in a run, drives in 2 with a base hit to center.
Well, hunting that first pitch fastball, and that's what he does. That ball catches a lot of the plate, and Perez stays down and through it, rifles that ball right up the middle. The Royals have made this really interesting.
Colon will come on to pinch run now. They get the pinch runner for Perez. They'll have Alex Gordon coming up. So back to a 1-run ball game. The Rays with 2 in the 8th and now 2 in the 9th for Kansas City. Christian Colon, the runner at first. And the pitch is down to Gordon. It's Wade Davis up again in the bullpen. Davis and Holland now, depending on the situation. 1-1. Big cut by Gordon. Dodgers batting in the top half of the 9th, with Detroit leading 14-5 after the Dodgers scored 5 in the first off Verlander, who went 6 innings, by the way. Tigers with 20 hits tonight. No home runs, 16 singles.
Wow. Wow. 16 singles.
How's that?
Death by paper cuts.
Cut and a miss. Gordon missed a fastball in at 98. It's 1-2. off a bit. 98 again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's Infante on deck. Broken bat, the ground ball. Loney's going to get the out at first, and into second base goes Colon. Loney looked down there, thought about it, didn't risk it, and got the sure out at first base.
Well, you're thinking about Colon, a better speed headed towards second base, and then also the angle of the throw. Watch here. See Colon leaning towards the inside, taking away that angle of the left-handed throwing James Loney. Very smart heads-up base running by Colon. By doing that, he ended up out in scoring position here with 2 outs.
And it's Omar Infante now. Infante had a base hit in the 6th and a single in the 8th. 2 for 4.
And different alignment now with the infield.
He got the base hit through the right side. Came into the game hitting .328 with men in scoring position. So it comes down to this. In a 1-run game, 2 outs in the 9th. And he comes out swinging at the fastball, fouls it back. Strike 1. Continues to be tough for the Rays against Kansas City. They're 1-3 against them this year. 4-13 since 2012. He fouls that one back. Fastball up. 97. Strikes the count on Infante. Jake McGee trying to close it out. Upstairs. Hard stuff again up.
They'll knock him off the plate a little bit. You know, he swung at that previous pitch. It was up and in. Come a little bit further in, and now maybe you think about going away, but he's shown that ability to poke it the other way, and it would be easy for him to get to 97 away than it would be in on his hands, trying to get the barrel out there.
1-2, and he fouls it back just enough to stay alive again at 98. Hard stuff up.
And that's exactly what McGee and Hannigan have been thinking these last couple of pitches. Force him to get it started way early to get the barrel out in front to catch the fastball middle in. Omar Infante handles the bat very, very well. And he will use the whole field.
With a 1-2. One more time. He strikes him out. 98. Did the job that time. This game is over. The Rays win it 4-3. Big night for Brandon Guyer. McGee comes on to close it out. It's an inning and a third. Boxberger's going to get the win. The Rays with a pair of 2-run innings.